Tonight, a familiar name emerges from the Epstein files. Why Peter Nygard is referenced in the latest tranche of documents and his connection to a high-profile royal. Also tonight,
at the very beginning, my husband and I said we accept the diagnosis, but we reject the prognosis.
A deadly diagnosis and a lack of treatment options sends a local woman on an international journey for potentially life-saving care. Plus, moving forward at the Forks.
Yeah, we had a wonderful early Christmas present.
Two major projects to reshape and renew the historic site start to take shape.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Dow. Marilee is away. The FBI and U.S. prosecutors tried to secure an interview with former Prince Andrew about convicted sex offender Peter Nygard. The revelations are part of the latest release of documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Nygard, the one-time fashion mogul from Winnipeg, is currently serving an 11-year prison sentence. CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live with the details. So, Jeff, what questions did U.S. authorities have for the former prince, about Nygard?
They wanted to know about any trips Andrew made to Nygard's place in the Bahamas, plus names and descriptions of any females who were there. The name of disgraced fashion mogul Peter Nygard has come up in the latest release of files related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Sometimes like attracts like, and so we shouldn't be surprised.
According to a U.S. Department of Justice document from April 2020, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and the FBI wanted the UK's help to get an interview with former Prince Andrew in connection to both Nygard and Epstein in separate sex trafficking investigations. The briefing says the authorities wanted to ask about the nature of Andrew and Nygard's relationship, details of any trips Andrew took to Nygard's home in the Bahamas, and the names and/or descriptions of any females Prince Andrew met through Nygard or at Nygard's Cay. This is the location where Nygard is alleged to have trafficked adult women and girls from the U.S.
The concern here, of course, is in what cases does that connection actually potentially mean something more nefarious?
Nygard was convicted on 4 counts of sexual assault in Toronto last year and sentenced to 11 years in prison. And he faces charges in the U.S. which he has denied and have not been tested in court. Shannon Moroney is a trauma therapist who has been counseling around 50 survivors related to Nygard. She says, while these potential revelations are not a shock, they can be difficult to hear for the victims.
When they see their assailant's face on the news or something related, it causes a disturbance.
We reached out to Nygard's lawyer and are awaiting word on if a comment is coming. Nygard also had a preliminary hearing in Montreal this year for sexual assault and forcible confinement. He has denied those allegations too.
So, Jeff, was Andrew a target of the U.S. probe?
No, it doesn't appear that way. The documents say the former prince was not a target at the time and that the U.S. authorities had not collected evidence that he committed any crime under U.S. law.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. A Winnipeg woman says she's been fighting a multi-year uphill battle through the medical system. Cynthia Mitchell has been battling a rare form of cancer for the past 4 years, all while searching for treatment in Canada that she says is just not available. As CTV's Joseph Bernacki reports, a clinical trial in the U.S. is offering hope, but at a crippling cost.
Cynthia Mitchell says it's been an uphill battle trying to find treatment for her rare form of cancer. She's fighting to survive after originally being told she had only months to live.
At the very beginning, my husband and I said we accept the diagnosis, but we reject the prognosis.
Mitchell was diagnosed with cholangiocarcinoma, also known as bile duct cancer, in 2021. Over the past 4 years, she's become an advocate for the rare form of cancer. She says around 500 Canadians are diagnosed every year with this condition. Trying to find treatment options has been a real challenge.
Not only are you trying to battle this disease, but you're also trying to navigate what is really an unnavigable system when you're faced with a rare cancer.
Mitchell says based on her rare condition, she has no current options for treatment in Manitoba. Since her diagnosis, she's been traveling to Toronto for consultation, testing, and treatment. CTV News reached out to Minister of Health, Seniors and Long-Term Care, Minister Uzoma Asagwara, for comment on Mitchell's condition and what's available to her in Manitoba. In a statement to CTV News, the minister said, "My heart is with Miss Mitchell and her family. Rare cancers put families in impossible positions as treatment and diagnosis is especially difficult. Our focus remains on strengthening cancer care here at home and supporting patients and providers as they navigate extraordinarily difficult decisions." Now, a clinical trial in Texas, where one of Mitchell's oncologists is based, may be the only option. The problem? How to afford the significant cost.
Houston opened up a spot for me within 3 days of learning that I couldn't find a trial here in Canada. And so there's an astronomical cost that comes with that. The only treatment that has ever been effective at all in stabilizing my disease has been one of those targeted therapies.
David Raynaud, Senior Policy Manager with the Canadian Cancer Society, said in a statement to CTV News, rare cancers, which make up around 20% of new cancer cases in Canada, can be especially difficult to diagnose and treat. Because many healthcare providers are not familiar with them, patients often face delays, limited treatment options, and may need to travel far from home to access specialized care. Mitchell says she is not going to give up despite the financial barrier.
As devastating as this diagnosis has been, we have such deep gratitude that I'm still here and still fighting.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Mitchell says care at the hospital in Houston could cost $100,000. A GoFundMe has been set up, and as of Tuesday afternoon, more than $27,000 has been raised. The body of a fisherman who went through ice in Manitoba's southeast has been found. Manitoba RCMP say the body of a 71-year-old man was found on December 19th on Lake of the Woods by the Winnipeg Police Service Underwater Recovery Team. RCMP say their underwater recovery team was not available as it was deployed for another operation in Grand Rapids. The man from Buffalo Point First Nation was traveling on a side-by-side to an ice fishing shack roughly 5 kilometers north of the Buffalo Point Marina on December 16th. RCMP say the man's vehicle went through the ice and he was unable to free himself. A search was not possible that day due to weather conditions. Camping at a provincial park is going to be a bit pricier next year, and you may want to think twice before canceling a reservation. Starting January 1st, yurts will go from $56 to $65 a night, and cabins costing a little more than $70 a night will now be $85. Campsites with water, electrical service, or firewood will also see an increase. And if you cancel your booking, you'll be charged a minimum $10 fee. The NDP government approved the changes but haven't yet made a formal announcement. CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady joins us now with a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. We call it Festivus today.
That's
Christmas
right.
Eve. How's the night shaping up ahead, Colleen, before the big guy's arrival tomorrow?
Well, it's a pretty quiet night here in the Winnipeg area. A little bit of light snow falling in parts of the province, although out at the airport there is a little bit of light snow reporting here in the city. But you can see some light snow falling up around places like Roblin. Just scooting past Swan River there, approaching Dauphin. Not much to this, but there will be some snow crossing through central northern parts of the province tonight, and there will be snow crossing southern Manitoba on Christmas Day, and not just snow. I'll show you what else could be headed our way. It could affect travel plans potentially. I'll show you more coming up. Let's take a look right now, though. First, through the Bathfitter Live Eye Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, it is minus 13 degrees with a touch of light snow falling. Winds out of the south-southeast at 18 kilometers an hour. The wind chill feels like minus 21. The pressure is steady, and the humidity right now, Catherine, is 77%.
Thanks, Colleen. Premier Wab Kinew is not going to fulfill a campaign promise to regulate gas prices. In the 2023 election, Kinew's New Democrats said if elected, they would give the Public Utilities Board the power to review, investigate, and regulate retail gas prices. In a year-end interview with the Canadian Press, Kinew says he changed his mind after looking at gas regulation in Atlantic Canada.
It seems like there's probably some risk that might actually be counterintuitively risking higher gas prices if you move to that more regulated model.
The concern appears to be that companies in regulated environments might apply for higher prices than needed to ensure they're protected against any sudden, unexpected change. Canoe says his move to reduce the provincial fuel tax has been more effective than regulation would be. 2 more drivers are facing criminal charges as the Winnipeg Police Service's holiday check stop program continues. Police say between December 15th and 21st, 1,183 drivers were stopped. 36 were found to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Breaking that number down further, 2 drivers were criminally charged for impaired operation, 12 were issued immediate roadside prohibitions, and 1 driver failed a drug screening test, plus another 21 drivers registered a WARN reading on a roadside test. The Winnipeg Police Service is getting some new technology and training thanks to a funding boost from the province. The province says it's giving some $644,000 to the force from the Criminal Property Forfeiture Fund. More than a third of that is earmarked for what the province calls a long-range, less lethal use of force option, as well as ballistic safety shields. Smaller amounts are being set aside for emotional survival training and a new inflatable shelter for the underwater search and recovery unit. It appears there's a pathway forward tonight to fixing the Forks historic rail bridge. The Forks says the province is chipping in to help with repairs.
The bridge means a great deal, not just to the Forks, but to the Indigenous peoples of this province and to everybody who uses the bridge as an active transportation link in the city. More than 350,000 people cross that bridge annually before we had to close it for safety reasons.
The 111-year-old bridge closed in June 2023 due to structural issues, and the Forks later removed the bridge's counterweight. Adam Dooley from the Forks says it's going to cost about $9.3 million to replace the decking and work on the steel structure. So a $3 million contribution from the province is a big help.
We just started the capital campaign this summer. We're raising money for this project and for the Alexander Docks Park. In total, it'll be $20.1 million. So we're talking to a lot of private and public sector investors, and we're hoping that in the new year we'll have more good news to announce on both of those projects.
Dooley says there's no timeline on when the bridge will be fixed, but 2026 is shaping up to be a big year for the Forks. Dooley says they'll be breaking ground on phase 1 of the rail-side development in the next few months. He says they expect the first residents will move in sometime in 2027. Manitoba has a not-so-cool reputation for its bone-chilling winters, but a city in the northern part of the province is hoping it can transform itself into a winter tourism hotspot. All that snow you're seeing is going to eventually become the Flin Flon Snow Lodge, a 1,600-square-foot community building made of ice and snow. The idea is for it to look like a large-scale ice hotel found in Sweden, Japan, and Quebec. But instead of sleeping, the city and its partners are expecting it to be buzzing with events like community feasts, live music, and even wedding socials.
It's just a chance for the community to kind of engage in this structure, to understand what it is, and to realize that it's like a very, it's full of great potential.
Visitors can also expect dog sled rides, a 20-foot teepee, and heated warming stations. A grand opening is planned for mid to late January. Those dates will be finalized early in the new year. More details on the project can be found on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Still to come tonight, a deal at Canada Post, but is it too late to keep businesses from jumping ship?
They're still bleeding. They are hemorrhaging incredible amounts of money.
A look at the road ahead and the uncertainty still being felt by Canada's business community. That's when we return.
A winter coat. You give them the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside, because no child should be freezing cold. Donate to Coats for Kids. Proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV.
Taking a look at the markets now, crude oil added 37 cents. The Canadian dollar is up slightly. Gold gained $36. The TSX rose 58 points. The Dow Jones climbed 79 points, and the Nasdaq is up 133 points. The Transportation Safety Board is investigating after an airplane caught fire just prior to takeoff in Winnipeg Monday morning. The TSB says the de Havilland DHC-8102 aircraft, operated by Perimeter Aviation, was destined for God's River Airport with 32 passengers and 3 crew on board. Just before taking to the runway, the crew received a call from a ground controller saying the plane was on fire. The pilot aboarded the takeoff and airport crews extinguished the flames, which were confined to one of the wheel assemblies. No one was injured, and Perimeter Aviation says passengers were on their way about 4 hours later. The airline says it is investigating. The inquest into the death of an inmate at a Manitoba jail in 2021 is one step closer, following a hearing today to determine who can participate. The purpose of the inquest is to determine what led up to the death of William Amo and whether anything can be done to prevent similar deaths in the future. Amo died in hospital in February of 2021, a week after a chaotic confrontation with guards during which he was put into a restraint chair and ultimately suffered cardiac arrest. His death was ruled a homicide, and one corrections officer went on trial, charged with criminal negligence causing death and failing to provide the necessities of life. He was found not guilty in September of 2024. An inquest into Amo's death was called in July of this year. It's a tentative agreement that could turn the page on a rocky labor dispute. Canada Post and its union representing postal workers announcing they found common ground. However, many questions still remain about the future of the ailing Crown Corporation. CTV's Scott Hurst reports.
Labor unrest between Canada Post and its union representing 55,000 postal workers and uncertainty about the future forced this Toronto small business to make a choice.
We had to go a different route this holiday season.
Retailer Province of Canada ships clothing across the country, and by turning away from Canada Post is now relying on multiple carriers to fill the gap.
After last year's strike and then this September, we just didn't feel we had the confidence to go into the holiday season with them again.
But a tentative deal between Canada Post and the Canadian Union of Postal Workers announced on Monday may at least provide some stability.
So on the one hand, short run, good news. In the longer term, it doesn't solve the underlying structural problems.
Canada Post said the agreements include a 6.5% wage increase in year 1, a 3% hike in year 2, and increases matching inflation in years 3 through 5. They also include enhanced benefits and a weekend parcel delivery model, which had been a key sticking point in negotiations.
They are still bleeding. They are hemorrhaging incredible amounts of money. So they're a long way away from where they have to be. They've got a huge job ahead to become more dynamic and productive and competitive.
And maybe that will be enough to win back at least this Toronto business.
I think until this gets fully sorted out properly, then we can maybe reconsider going back to them for next year.
Cup W's national board is recommending its members accept the deals. Ratification votes are set to take place early next year. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
A lawyer in Ontario has been granted bail pending his extradition hearing. 62-year-old Deepak Paradkar is accused of counseling Ryan Wedding, a former Canadian Olympian now accused of running a criminal organization. Paradkar was released on a $5 million bail. He is one of several Canadians arrested last month as part of an FBI investigation into Wedding. Paradkar accused of helping Wedding in the murder of a federal witness. He faces multiple life sentences if found guilty in the U.S. Russia launched a massive attack on Ukrainian cities overnight. Russia launched more than 600 drones and 30 missiles in the assault. At least 3 people were killed, including a 4-year-old child. Energy infrastructure was also targeted, and several regions are without power. U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada and the patriotic response has been named the Canadian Press News Story of the Year. The trade war dominated headlines affecting politics, the economy, and national identity, with nearly two-thirds of Canadian editors and news directors calling it the most consequential story of 2025. Prime Minister Mark Carney led the Liberals to re-election, promising a elbows-up strategy of Canadian resilience amid stalled U.S. trade talks. The economy took a hit from tariffs but rebounded in the third quarter, aided by trade exemptions under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement. The Louvre has installed metal bars on its windows. It comes 2 months after 4 thieves broke into the museum and stole $140 million worth of jewels. Police have arrested multiple suspects but have not recovered anything that was taken.
See that sparkle in their eye? That makes it all worth it.
Going all out to spread some holiday cheer. Where in Winnipeg you can find this dazzling lights display and maybe even Santa and Mrs. Claus themselves. That's next.
And a bit of a warm-up on Christmas Day Thursday for Winnipeg. We could see a few flurries during the day, -6 degrees. We'll likely see some snow Christmas night. Friday, a break for a few hours, mostly cloudy. Snow likely to resume Friday night and into Saturday, but still mild throughout. -9 on Friday, -6 is our high on Saturday, but then you see that drop by Sunday. Back to colder temperatures, -17 Sunday with a chance of flurries, -18 under a mix of sun and cloud by Monday.
The folks over at Agape Tables served up around 700 plates of food at its holiday meal earlier today. CTV's Ainsley McPhail got a sneak peek at this year's spread and learned about Agape Tables' new space opening in the spring.
A special meal is being served at Agape Table for the holiday season. Its executive director, Jim Steep, joins me now to tell us all about it. You can feel the buzz in the air, Jim, looking around, full of volunteers and groups. You yourself are decked out for the holiday season.
I am. Yeah, it's pretty exciting this morning at Agape Table. This is our Christmas dinner, and so you can see turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, vegetables, and lots of treats.
Mm-hmm. And why did you guys want to make it so special for those next couple of days?
Yeah, it's a big time of year, and it's been a tough year for a lot of people. And our guests are very excited about getting into our new building, probably in February. So it's getting close and very exciting.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that we're getting into that, tell us about what that will entail.
Yeah, well, it's going to be completely different. It'll be back to the way it was for 40 years at Agape Table, where we serve our guests inside, and completely accessible. And yeah, we'll be able to serve our guests 7 days a week instead of 5 like we always have. So yeah, there's a lot of, and it's going to be a lot easier on our volunteers and our staff as well, with the loading dock that we have now and everything like that. So we're not pushing food down banquet tables over the stairs and like 2 million pounds of food a year. So it's very exciting for everybody, guests, volunteers, staff, and the whole thing.
And the indoor component too, of course, freezing outside, but also that level of community and fellowship, something that is being mirrored on a day like today.
Yeah, for 100%. And for 40 years, that's one of the big things besides serving food, is the camaraderie and the social kind of aspect to Agape Table. And for a lot of people, this is their main thing in the morning. They get to know the volunteers a bit. Everybody, it's like a community of their own, and it's a nice, safe place to socialize.
And leading up to Christmas, looking around, tons of regular volunteers and also groups who have rallied together.
Oh yeah, for sure. Since the beginning of November right through till the end of the year, we've had a lot of groups. Like every day we've had 1 or 2 groups, companies, corporations, people coming in, and everybody wants to help at Christmas time, even on Christmas Day.
We have such a wonderful and generous community here in Winnipeg. Thank you so much for everything you do. 365. Hunger does not take a holiday, and we're looking forward to following up with you in the coming months with that new building.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch weather forecast. Wow, we've had a lot of snow in the last couple of days. Colleen, I understand we shouldn't be putting away our shovels just yet.
The way things have been playing out so far, I think it's not a bad idea to keep your shovels close at all times as we get a little further into this winter season. But yeah, there's a light dusting of snow over southern Manitoba right now. A little bit of it falling lightly in Winnipeg and in Brandon. I'll zoom in more, though. You can see it's a bit more organized, passing through places like Roblin, Gilbert Plains. It's falling right now in Dauphin and over into St. Rose du Lac. It's falling a little further north as well through the Pas and Flin Flon this hour, and it will continue to travel across central and northern parts of the province tonight. There's not a lot of accumulation with this, and it does zip along pretty quickly. It will miss us here in the south, and for areas further north, up in the north, it's clear and it's quite cold under a warning there. I'll show you that in just a moment. But as we get a little further into the evening, Norway House, Thompson, you'll start to pick up this snow later on tonight. Island Lake as well. Overnight, Gillam, you might see a flurry or two over your community. Then we get into a Wednesday, i.e. Christmas Eve. We clear out for a few hours anyway. A lot of places will see some sunshine. Some places will see temperatures rising overnight tonight, and in some areas you'll see temperatures falling tomorrow. But for the most part, pretty stable weather. Waiting for the next low pressure system, which will start to move in overnight into Christmas Day. You can see there the first of that snow moving into west central parts of the province early Thursday morning. Over the next several hours, it will pick up some steam, but in behind is this impulse here, which is going to sync up in behind with this low pressure system. And watch this. This isn't snow. This may be ice pellets or freezing rain. So if you do have any highway driving to do, or even inside the cities really on Thursday on Christmas Day, just be mindful that there is the possibility developing that it could be a little slippery out there if this tracks during Christmas Day the way it's expected to. As for that cold warning, it affects Tadoule Lake and Brochet tonight, where wind chill values will feel as cold as minus 45 both tonight and Christmas Eve night, Wednesday night. Cold across the rest of the province too. Here's a look at the current wind chill values. It feels like minus 32 in Lynn Lake. Over in Churchill, it feels like minus 40 there. Down here in the south, more moderate wind chill values, but still it feels in the minus 20s here in southern Manitoba, including in Winnipeg, where it feels like minus 21. The actual air temperature will drop down to around minus 16 overnight, mostly cloudy once this light snow moves on out. There's not much to it. Winds out of the south at 15 kilometers an hour. Mostly cloudy start to our Christmas Eve tomorrow, minus 12 degrees, and then more of a mix of sun and cloud with a high of minus 13. The winds will shift. They'll come straight out of the north, and they'll strengthen a little bit, about 20 kilometers an hour. Tonight, a few clouds over Churchill down to minus 31. Overnight flurries for Gillam. Light snow picking up in Island Lake and Thompson. Thompson down to minus 27 there. Sunny around the region tomorrow with temperatures in the upper minus 20s. Light snow tonight for most of the northwest. Overnight lows in the mid minus 20s. Clearing tomorrow morning through Lynn Lake and Norway House. Lynn Lake just minus 25 tomorrow. In the southwest tonight, minus 17 for Brandon, minus 19 for Dauphin. Cloudy. And then tomorrow, clouds stick around Swan River. More of a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of the region. Brandon minus 13, Dauphin a little colder, minus 17. Clouds tonight over Winnipeg in the southeast. Temperatures rising outside the city where you see those asterisks. Daytime highs tomorrow, minus 12, minus 13 degrees. And in northwestern Ontario tonight, varying amounts of cloud. Kenora, your temperature rises overnight to minus 12. And then cloudy in the region tomorrow with highs as mild as minus 4 in Fort Frances, but really mild around the region. Now, inadvertently, our weather photos tonight are dedicated to Cheryls who spell their names with an S. This first one is from Cheryl up at Hecla Grindstone Provincial Park, and this next one is also from Cheryl with 2 R's in her name. That's at Birds Hill. Beautiful shots from both of those Cheryls. Send us your weather photos, whether your name is Cheryl or not, to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Colleen. People in Garden City haven't had to go far to meet Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. A husband and wife are spreading cheer in their community 3 nights a week this season outside in Santa's workshop, taking photos with neighbors and new friends. CTV's Joseph Bernacki has the story.
Gingerbread on 3,
Gingerbread, 1, gingerbread.
Garden City resident Brad Wallace's love of playing jolly old St. Nicholas is bringing dozens of smiles to many in the neighborhood.
Just to lighten up somebody's life, to see that sparkle in their eye, that makes it all worth it. You can't You can't pay me for this.
Wallace and his wife Roxanne have been dressing up as Santa and Mrs. Claus for years. What started as a small Christmas display in their front yard a decade ago has now turned into a winter wonderland. Wallace says their display all starts with Santa's sleigh, then thousands of lights are put up. Over the years, they've inspired their whole street and have put neighbors on notice.
It's a competition now. We're like the Griswold Street, but it's fun.
This year, the couple decided to up their game with even more lights. Wallace was inspired by a gentleman in Texas to create 8.5 feet arches of light for the sidewalk in front of their house.
I never thought much of it. I thought, what a cool idea. So I emailed him and said, how do you do it?
Not everyone enjoyed these lights, however. They soon got a 311 complaint and then a second complaint asking to take them down. Wallace says he reached out to City Councillor Devi Sharma, who told the couple to keep the lights up. City inspectors told the couple they could keep the lights up if they were extended vertically to 10.5 feet.
They miraculously came up with a permit that allowed me to do it.
He says the arches of light have exploded in popularity, prompting more people to take photos with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. While he says they can't make everyone happy, they love spreading holiday cheer ahead of Christmas. They have plans for something new to see next year.
I strive for 99%, and it's so much fun just to do it, and the reaction from people.
It's contagious.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Hopefully it's also part of a broader move for public safety.
Up next, our year-end interview with the Premier. What worked, what didn't, and what's to come in the year ahead. Stay with us. CTV lead anchor Marilee Caruso recently sat down for a year-end interview with Premier Wab Kinew. The pair discussed some achievements from 2025 and also the challenges facing our province in the year to come. Here's part one of that conversation.
He's still the most popular premier in all of Canada, more than 2 years into his inaugural term as Manitoba's premier. And among Wab Kinew's biggest wins this year was locating the remains of Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron in a landfill search some said would be too difficult and too expensive. Wab Kinew joins me now in studio to look back at the year that was and ahead to the year to come. Premier, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nice to see you. You know, I brought up the landfill search because when I look back at 2025, it took just 3 months to find the remains of these women and cost a fraction of the original estimate. When you look back at your accomplishments of Premier, where does this rank?
This is up there for sure. I mean, people were basically saying this was impossible. And working with the families, working with some great people in the civil service, engineers, everybody else, we were able to bring some closure to the families and maybe hopefully just kind of help Manitobans move forward in a good way with some more unity. So I think that was very good. But if we look back at the year, honestly, probably one of the highlights for me was the patriotism. And Donald Trump said 51st state. Everybody here in Manitoba was like, no. And it was amazing to see people do that while flying the Maple Leaf and have a lot of pride in our country. So I think that was, for me, one of the big highlights for 2025.
On the flip side, is there anything in this past year you regret or didn't play out the way you hoped you would do differently if you could?
Well, I think, you know, the Carberry overpass that we're moving forward with, we definitely had a false start there where we went out and we said, you know, there's this other model we were looking at, and we got an earful. So, I mean, I think it ended in the right place, but we probably could have saved ourselves and some other people some heartache if we would have maybe just done the overpass right from the start.
One front you did face some opposition on was the location of the new supervised consumption site.
Right. Yeah.
How confident are you that you have the right location now? Or, you know, could we be looking at a third location, or are you scrapping this project altogether?
No, I don't think so. I do think it belongs in this area because this is where the homeless services are. This is where a lot of the other addictions outreach is happening. So it makes sense to be in this area. But that said, this is a big step. Our province has never had this before, so I want to be flexible. And if the businesses and other people who are coming out to the consultations have a consensus around we can do one other thing or maybe change a detail that would make people a little bit more comfortable, I think so. We'd be flexible and we'd accommodate those things. So for me, the goal is really to just show flexibility on our side, and then hopefully people in the community, people around the province will show flexibility too and say, you know what, maybe I'm not crazy about this idea at the start, but I'm willing to keep an open mind. And that's all we're asking, because the reason why we're doing this at the end of the day is because we think it's going to help. It's going to help with the overdose deaths that we've seen. It's going to help with things like HIV in the community, but hopefully it's also part of a broader move for public safety. We've been investing in law enforcement, investing in the justice system, investing in drug treatment, the Anaconda Recovery Center is one example. So this could be part of that comprehensive approach.
During the back and forth over the sobering center, you kind of mused a bit this year about the possibility of an early election call. Are you putting that to rest now, or is that still,
I can put that there. I'm not thinking about an election. You don't have to worry about an election in 2026 from us. You got the city elections, that'll be plenty for everybody. Sometimes I have journalists asking me questions, and I like to have a little fun with them. Maybe I went a little too far in one press conference, but I'm not thinking early election. I'm thinking healthcare. I'm thinking cost of living, groceries in particular, trying to move the ball forward for people in Manitoba.
Your government is projecting a $1.6 billion deficit, double than what was predicted at this time last year. At this point, how do you balance the books at the end of this term? What sort of cuts or tax hikes do you need to make it happen?
Well, we're not raising taxes, so I can rule that out as well too. Growing the economy, though, if we get the Churchill project moving, that gas plant that we've announced in Brandon, that's going to create a lot of economic activity. So we got to ensure that the economy is growing so that there's more money, more people working, and that can help with the budget. But yeah, we're going to have to tighten the belts as well too. And I think the way that we look at doing that is in the update that we shared, if you look at the government departments, pretty much all the ministers hit their targets. Where we did see the big challenge was on Trump and the tariff threats, and then the wildfires and Manitoba Hydro's drought conditions. So climate change, global warming, and Donald Trump were really causing us the challenges this year. So we got to respond to that. That's reality. That's the cards that we're dealt as a province. But with the ministers hitting their targets in their departments, if we do that again in 26, 27, and then again the 27, 28 fiscal year, there is a path to balancing the budget, and that's what we're focused on.
Having said that, Trump will still be there over those next couple years.
Hopefully the midterms maybe chill him out a little bit, but yeah.
You may have to still deal with him.
Yeah.
They're predicting it could be another dry year. Wildfires could be an issue. Are there any big projects or something you could maybe postpone to make it happen that you're considering?
Well, that's always an option, but I think this is not the time to make things worse by either putting people out of work, or construction is one of the big ways to stimulate the economy, right? Like if we are feeling that impact from the Trump tariff threats, which we are, one of the ways to keep people working is to build roads, build bridges, build schools. And so I think it's a balancing act, and while we definitely want to make sure that we're balanced when it comes to the budget, we also got to be balanced with keeping the economy moving.
Well, speaking of balancing the books, it's not just tough for the province, it's tough on Manitobans these days as well. Affordability crisis is crippling for a lot of people. You've promised to do a review to see how you can make grocery prices cheaper. Would you consider scrapping the PST on restaurant meals? Because, we heard after the Liberals kind of, gave their Christmas gift last year, it really made a big difference as far as inflation on grocery food prices did. We know what the PST on the gas tax did under you. Is this something you will do in 2026?
Well, the gas tax cut that we brought in, that was a big learning experience, because it showed even if some of the economists out there had their view, the view of the average person was this made a difference. And then we saw it in the inflation numbers too, right? So that was a big learning experience. On grocery prices, which again, this is a major priority.
It's something you can't go without.
Yeah. And the lineup at the new Costco, I think, showed that people in Winnipeg and Manitoba are serious about this. So what we're doing so far is we're tackling the property controls. There's these barriers to competition in the grocery sector that the big chains are using. We're removing those one piece at a time. Hopefully we'll get rid of all of them, and then we'll be the first province in Canada to have true competition in the grocery sector. That should give better prices. Then we're also looking at, there's some areas where we actually do have input on what the costs are that you pay, like the price of milk. So we're going to see what's possible there while still making sure that the farmers, the dairy producers, can make a living. And then, I think in the spring budget, you'll see us roll out the result of these studies and inquiries that we're making right now.
Is that something you're looking at, though, removing the PST on restaurant meals? Is that going to be part of this review?
I don't know about that in particular, but something definitely facing consumers, something for consumers directly on the price of food, price of groceries. Yeah, I think you can expect that in the budget.
Now, that was part one of our year-end interview with the Premier. Tomorrow, we will bring you part two, where we will drill down on one of the most pressing subjects right now, healthcare. Hear what Canoe has to say about ending mandatory overtime and whether or not there's even enough workers for such a move. That's coming up tomorrow. Manitoba is opening up free vaccine eligibility following a hepatitis A outbreak in a remote area of the province that includes 4 First Nations. Health officials say they've documented 215 cases of the hepatitis A virus during the latest outbreak that includes up until December 11th. A large number of those cases are in the Island Lake region in northeastern Manitoba, which includes Garden Hills, St. Teresa Point, Wasagamak, and Red Sucker Lake First Nations. The province is offering free vaccinations to all residents 6 and older. Anyone who travels to or works in these communities and individuals who have household visitors from the area. The vaccine is also being provided to people in other regions of the province who were exposed to or could have been to cases associated with the outbreak. The province says the overall risk of exposure for the general public is low. U.S. regulators say they have approved for use a pill version of the weight loss drug Wegovy. The approval by the FDA gives drug makers Novo Nordisk an edge over rival Eli Lilly and its oral drug in the race to market an obesity pill. Both pills mimic a hormone that controls appetite, and officials say the Wegovy pill is expected to be available within weeks. Experts say oral pills could expand access and reduce costs for obesity treatments.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic.
The holidays are a great time to settle down with a new book, and we can help you get inspired. Up next, which titles top the list for most checkouts at Winnipeg libraries in 2025?
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Men Without Hats and the Spoons.
The results are in. Winnipeg Library Services is out with this year's list of the top titles. TV chef and author Ina Garten's memoir took the top spot in the biographies category, followed by works from Cher and Lisa Marie Presley. Premier Wab Kinu's memoir, The Reason You Walk, took the 4th spot. At more than 900 circulations, The Grey Wolf, a novel by Louise Penny, not only topped the fiction category, but was the most sought-after title overall. That was followed by The Women, a novel, and The Waiting. The best-selling self-help book, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, was Winnipegger's top nonfiction pick. That was ahead of Scott Oak's memoir about his son's struggle with opioids, titled For the Love of a Son. Malcolm Gladwell's Revenge of the Tipping Point rounded out the top 3. And finally, in the young adults category, 3 books in the Hunger Games series took all of the top 3 spots. We have a more fulsome list of all of this year's popular titles up on our website. Just head over to ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Legendary singer Barry Manilow has revealed he has lung cancer and will need surgery to remove a spot on his lung. The 82-year-old performer says the cancer was discovered after an extended bout of bronchitis. The singer added that doctors don't believe the cancer has spread, so as far as treatment goes, he expects no chemo, no radiation, just Chicken Soup and I Love Lucy reruns. His January shows are being rescheduled. The campy, over-the-top 1997 horror flick Anaconda is one of those so bad it's good movies, and now 2 huge comedy stars are bringing their version to the big screen.
This is going to be the adventure of a lifetime. We've dreamed of making this movie ever since we were kids.
Jack Black and Paul Rudd play amateur filmmakers who set out to create their own version of the 1997 cult classic Anaconda. But things take a chaotic and hilarious turn when they realize an actual giant anaconda is hunting them. It's the first major collaboration between Black and Rudd. Anaconda is in theaters Christmas Day. We'll settle in for some great TV. It all gets started with E-Talk at 7 tonight, followed by The Big Bang Theory. Then at 8, it's the star-studded rom-com, The Holiday. It's all right here on CTV.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arbor, Manitoba.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&Teak Spa Salon.
Well, both the highest and the lowest temperature today happened overnight. Highest -12, lowest -16. And -16 is our lowest temperature tonight, or that's the expectation anyway. Cloudy, -16 overnight, -13 on Wednesday, Christmas Eve. And then we warm up, but it comes with an approaching system. We could see flurries during the day, Christmas Day. We'll likely see snow Christmas night, -6 during the day. Friday, cloudy, snow returning Friday night and into Saturday. Those temperatures still remaining above normal, up to -6 again on Saturday. And then a drop off by Sunday, -17 degrees with a chance of flurries, -18 on Monday.
Thanks, Colleen. From a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away to a front yard in Lord Roberts.
We all know that Hoth is the snowy planet and The Empire Strikes Back, so when winter hits, he kind of belongs outside, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to just put a lot of fun, colorful lights on him.
Cue the Imperial March. Yes, you are looking at a 10-foot-tall AT-AT from the Star Wars universe. It was built by Aaron Frost and students in his advanced stagecraft class at the University of Winnipeg. And it's spending the holiday season outside Frost's friend's place on Jubilee Avenue.
Even just when we were setting it up on the weekend, just the people honking their horns as they were going past, and just the glances of people as they go by were warmed my heart completely. So it's been great.
Frost says it took Friday afternoons over the course of 3 months to put the AT-AT together. There's even a time-lapse video of the process. You can find a link to it on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. A reminder, Your Morning Winnipeg is taking a break this week. However, you can still tune in for the CTV News Winnipeg's Best of show, which airs tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And join Taylor Brock for CTV News at 11:30. Good night.